My name is Dr. Stephanie Heald, and I'm thrilled to be alongside my colleagues today for transforming early childhood education programs through shared vision, alignment, and innovation. I served as the department head for the early childhood programs in the College of Professional Advancement and have the pleasure of working alongside this amazing team. I would like to introduce the early childhood education team, starting with Dr. Amy Johnson.
Hello, I'm Dr. Amy Johnson.
I'm Dr. Michelle Otstot.
Hello, I'm Dr. Melissa Smith.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Tisha Shipley.
We'd like to begin by sharing how aligning with NAEYC standards and competencies helps support high-quality early childhood education. NAEYC, which is the National Association for the Education of Young Children, is the leading voice in the field and sets the benchmark for what high-quality early learning should look like. We align our programs and courses with NAEYC standards because they provide a clear, research-based framework that prepares our students to create environments that support the whole child. NAEYC's foundation is built on 5 key tenets that guide both early childhood educators and the programs they lead. First, developmentally appropriate practice ensures that teaching meets children where they are, supporting their growth in ways that are meaningful and effective. Second, the professional standards and competencies for early childhood educators clarify the knowledge, skills, and expectations that educators need to succeed in their roles, giving our students a roadmap for their professional development. Third, the Code of Ethical Conduct emphasizes integrity, responsibility, and ethical decision-making, helping future educators navigate the complex situations they may encounter in the classroom. Fourth, advancing equity in early childhood education reminds educators to create inclusive environments that respect and honor the diverse needs of all children and families. Finally, the NAEYC Early Childhood Program Standards provide a framework for high-quality programs, ensuring consistency, accountability, and positive learning outcomes for children. Aligning with NAEYC standards ensures that our students understand professional expectations, gain the knowledge and skills they need, and engage in reflection and self-assessment to support their ongoing professional growth. This alignment provides consistency, accountability, and most importantly, helps our students become educators who will improve outcomes for young children. And now Dr. Heald is going to talk about how we aligned our BA ECE program with NAEYC standards.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. As Dr. Johnson gave a glimpse of aligning our program with the NAEYC professional standards, our team can echo the value in this. I'm going to show you the commitment and rigor, the commitment to quality, to our students, and to the children and families that they will one day serve. These standards provide us with both direction and inspiration as we strive to go stronger as a program. Aligning UAGC's BA ECE program with NAEYC standards creates a shared vision. These standards provide a unifying framework that aligns faculty, students, and program leadership, fostering collaboration and shared goals. When everyone is working towards the same vision, it creates consistency across courses and programs. This shared direction helps faculty support one another and ensures students experience a cohesive, intentional education. NAEYC drives program improvement. By using these standards as our benchmark, we commit to continuous reflection, assessment, and enhancement of course content. The standards give us a reliable checkpoint to evaluate what's working and what needs to evolve or be revised. This allows our curriculum to stay current, evidence-based, and aligned to the needs of the early childhood education field. Alignment strengthens student success. Our graduates leave not only with a degree, but with competencies that are valued nationally, preparing them for professional roles and increasing their employability and credibility. Students leave with more than just academic knowledge. They gain recognized skills to make them stand out in the job market. This alignment translates into real confidence and real readiness as they step into their careers. This alignment builds program credibility. A curriculum that reflects NAEYC standards demonstrates quality and rigor. Alignment to standards shows that our program is serious about preparing educators. It builds trust, and our graduates meet a national expectation of excellence. Finally, alignment encourages ethical and reflective practices. NAEYC focuses on ethical guidelines, and developmentally appropriate practices equip our graduates to lead with integrity and care for children. By embedding ethics into everything we teach, we prepare professionals. We don't just know what to do, but they understand why it matters. This develops leaders who approach their work with responsibility and heart. This overarching vision is about uniting our NAEYC standards with our program objectives, continuously improving our program, supporting student success, strengthening our credibility, and preparing ethical, reflective leaders for the field of early childhood education. I want to turn it over to Dr. Shipley, who will discuss the process of aligning faculty.
So for the faculty alignment piece in the program, we used a chart that included each faculty member's name, the courses they were approved to teach, and the program in which they were teaching. It also captured their highest level of education and a complete record of their academic background, including the degrees they've earned, the dates that it was conferred, and the universities that they attended.
At UAGC, we have 5 early childhood programs that collaborate closely and often share adjunct or associate faculty. While faculty may teach across multiple programs, they are officially aligned to one primary degree program where most of their courses are based. As Dr. Shipley explained, reviewing each faculty member allowed us to ensure their program alignment matched their education, credentials, and professional experience. When a better fit was identified, faculty were realigned. In these cases, they often continued teaching some familiar courses while also being approved to teach courses aligned with their new program placement. For example, some instructors held degrees and experience as early childhood directors or elementary school principals, but were not previously teaching in the administration program. Through the review, they were realigned to that program, and the administration courses were added to the list of classes they might teach. Likewise, faculty with backgrounds and credentials in special education were moved into the degree program focused on differentiated instruction. Through this faculty alignment process, we ensure that each course is taught by the most qualified instructor, which ultimately strengthens the student experience and supports their success. Next, Dr. Smith will discuss our curriculum alignment.
For this next section of the presentation, I'll be focusing on our methodology, specifically how we used curriculum alignment through mapping and gap analysis to strengthen connections between course outcomes, NAEYC standards, and key assessments. Our methodology was curriculum alignment through mapping and gap analysis. We used a curriculum mapping template as a tool to crosswalk where each course outcome aligned with the NAEYC standards and competencies. And this process helped us quickly identify both redundancies and gaps across courses and the program. For example, in my course, I used a week-by-week alignment chart as shown in image 1 at the top of the screen to determine what standards were connected to the content and assessments across the course. At the program level, we conducted a gap analysis to identify where learning opportunities connected to all 22 competencies. When we discovered a competency with little to no opportunities to learn, practice, or be assessed, we deliberately built it into our course redesigns. This ensured that every student would not only be introduced to the competency, but also have structured opportunities to apply it and demonstrate mastery. This approach also ensured that competencies weren't only covered once, but instead they were integrated throughout the program in ways that built on prior learning and knowledge. It gave us a clear developmental sequence of learning across courses, making sure that students had opportunities to encounter, practice, and strengthen these skills over time. We then compiled our findings into a program-wide chart as seen in image 2 in the middle of the slide, which is still ongoing across programs, but it already provides us with a clear picture of coverage, scaffolding, and progression throughout the degree programs, which my colleague will go into more detail on the next slide. But finally, we applied the same process to our key assessments, which are the signature assignments in each course that provide direct evidence of student learning and mastery of NAEYC competencies. We made sure that every signature assignment was not only aligned with the standard, but also scaffolded to build student competency over time. An outline of this process is illustrated in the key assessment chart shown in image 3 at the bottom of the screen. As we aligned courses and assessments through mapping and gap analysis, the next step was to ask, how do we know it's working? We began identifying ways that data could guide continuous improvement and ensure stronger connections to student performance, which Dr. Shipley and Dr. Otstot will highlight next.
All right, so when we began reviewing learning outcomes, I first went through each course. Those courses are listed here. From there, every assignment, journal, discussion, and quiz was aligned with the NAEYC Professional Standards and Competencies. An X was marked in the chart to indicate alignment with the competency represented in the course. Each course syllabus was then saved and highlighted to show alignment, along with a supplemental document that breaks down every learning opportunity in the course by standards and competency. Complete alignment was shown throughout.
And once we identified which learning opportunities we already offer to students throughout our program, we focused on the gaps in alignment to the NAEYC competencies. We actually identified 5 competencies missing in our current courses, and these became the baseline for our new course developments and program improvement. Next, we began to develop innovative student experiences to add to our courses. One new type of student experience are the virtual modules. On this slide, you will see examples of 2 types of virtual modules. The picture on the top is an example of an interactive module. In this module, students explore 4 different classrooms within an early learning environment. Students visit 4 locations on the map by hovering over them and selecting the buttons. And once they are in each location, students search the environment for artifacts related to inclusive practices, assessment, family input, and the unique interests of the individual children that are being studied. Students then click on each child's educational record to record, to apply their learning as they make informed decisions for each child. The second picture on the bottom left corner is an example of a case study module. In this module, students are introduced to 8 infants and their families. In this featured case study, the students are learning about Bethany and her family. After learning about the children and their families in each case study, students apply their understanding of a family-centered approach of support to real-world scenarios. Altogether, our innovative virtual modules focus on 3 key features: scenario-based observations, real-world application, and opportunities for reflection. Next, Dr. Shipley will share about other innovative student experiences we also developed.
So I'm super excited about these. They are inspiration stations, and they are newly developed features in several of our courses. They're actually designed to showcase innovation and increase student engagement. So the first image to the far left shows an example of the title slides that are used on the YouTube channel for consistency for each video. The center image highlights real-world hands-on strategies for early childhood professionals, which they can apply during literacy instruction. The final image on the right top introduces students to the concept of environmental print and demonstrates how it can be used alongside literacy and children's literature. Then we have the first image on the left bottom row features an expert panel of highly respected leaders in the field. The center bottom row image presents a podcast with 3 experienced educators discussing a topic relevant to the course. And then the final image on the far right includes a short video message from a practicing principal offering insight and encouragement. So all of these videos and all of the inspiration stations in the courses, the panels, the resources, they give our students the opportunity to connect theory and practice while also engaging with experts, and they are able to experience diverse perspectives in the field of early childhood education.
As we improved our student experiences in our courses and our program as a whole, our team looked for meaningful ways to collect data. Our next step was to develop 6 key assessments to demonstrate student learning of all 22 competencies of the NAEYC professional standards. The pictures on this slide show how we refined our key assessments to isolate measurement of each NAEYC competency. For example, the top graphic demonstrates how NAEYC competency 1B, which is to understand and value each child as an individual with developmental variations, experiences, strengths, interests, abilities, challenges, approaches to learning, and their capacity to make choices, is actually clearly identifiable as one measurement in our final project of ECD 310 Exceptional Learning and Inclusion. The bottom graphic demonstrates how we refined the assignment instructions for each key assessment. For this example, note how each task within the assignment is purposeful and alignment to the NAEYC competency is easily identifiable and labeled next to the required task. The next thing that we did was to develop clearly aligned grading rubrics to measure student learning as demonstrated on each of our key assessments. On the screen, there's a picture of one performance measure aligned to the previously discussed competency NAEYC 1B. Specifically on the picture, you may note that the key competency is easily identifiable. As you can see, the header states that NAEYC 1B describes the child's background. Also take note how the performance language builds from non-performance to attempts to describe the child's background to all the way up to clearly and comprehensively describing the child's background. Next, we added new language to indicate whether our students met the NAEYC professional standard or did not meet the professional standard. And the graphic shows that in order for the student to meet the standard, they must perform at the basic, proficient, or distinguished levels. And if a student performed below expectations or had no performance at all, the student or the standard was not met. We also cross-reference all of the language in the performance measures with the instructional language in the assignment to ensure that the language was matched exactly. And finally, we narrowed down each of the performance measures to align to only one key competency. And this one small change has provided our team with the ability to clearly disaggregate data related to each of the 22 NAEYC competencies. Next, Dr. Smith will share some practical ways that you can apply these concepts to your own program.
The image on the screen shows a few strategies and takeaways that you can bring back to your own programs that support alignment, innovation, and improvement. Whether you're just starting a program review or a redesign process, these tools do not have to be complicated. Simply start with one and build from there. Even small steps can lead to meaningful improvement. The first one, start small with alignment tools. Begin with a simple chart or course map to see how outcomes and standards connect. You don't need a fancy tool. Just start with one, build and refine as you go. Next, engage faculty most qualified to teach the course. When determining alignment, involve the instructors that are most qualified and familiar with the courses. Ask questions like, are students demonstrating this competency here? or is it visible in their work? Faculty insight ensures redesigns are grounded in practice and not just paperwork. This collaboration also increases faculty buy-in. It strengthens consistency across programs and courses, clarifies expectations, and ultimately enhances student engagement. Next, redesign assessment for authenticity. Review key assessments and rubrics not only for alignment, but also for authenticity. Ask, would this prepare a student to step confidently into a real classroom? Next, involve students through feedback. Student evaluations and feedback are valuable data points. Their experiences help identify whether competencies are being learned, practiced, and mastered in meaningful ways. And strengthen rubric consistency and clarity. Refine rubrics so expectations are clear, language is consistent across courses, and performance levels reflect developmental growth. And finally, commit to ongoing reflection and micro revisions. This is not a one and done effort. Pilot updates, gather feedback, and encourage faculty to make small, gradual improvements rather than aiming for perfection upfront. Document what worked, what didn't, and the lessons that were learned. Embrace innovation through collaboration. Some of our best ideas came from team brainstorming and piloting small changes. And next, Dr. Heald will share some results and reflections.
So even with our strong foundation, the work doesn't stop here. Continuing our study and program review cycles is essential if we want to remain responsive and relevant in the field of early childhood education. So we continue the self-study and program review cycles. This progress monitoring allows us to measure learning outcomes, align objectives, and ensure continuous improvement. These cycles keep us accountable and focused on growth. Our shared professional competencies. Our graduates must continue to leave with skills and ethical commitments that reflect the national expectations for early childhood professionals. This alignment guarantees us that what we teach translates into real-world readiness. Our curriculum consistency. These standards give us a benchmark to keep our courses, our assessments, and our outcomes consistent across our faculty. This consistency strengthens both the student's experience as well as the program's reputation. Continuous quality improvement. Finally, national standards pushed us towards this reflection, this innovation, and this responsiveness, which is what the field demands. They guide us in staying relevant and preparing future educators for success. So in short, our ongoing self-study and alignment with national standards ensures that we just don't meet today's expectations, but we continue leading with quality, consistency, and integrity for the future. It's been a pleasure to share our research and our preliminary findings today, and we do hope to share back our full results once they're available. On this last slide, there are some resources that you can review, and you can always feel free to contact us with any feedback, ideas, or suggestions. Thank you for attending.